everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a full video all about foundations for the summer for all of you out there who have dry normal skin. I've had so many of you guys reach out and ask me if I would give you guys suggestions on which foundations I like and prefer for the summer. I'm gonna break this video down into parts. So I'm gonna talk about tinted moisturizers, then we'll go into light coverage, medium coverage, and full coverage foundations, just so that there's a wide variety to cover all the bases of what you guys might be looking for. All of the foundations that I'm going to be discussing in today's video are definitely more for dry, normal combination. Some of these might work for oily, but I would say 90% of them are gonna work for dry, normal, and combo skin. To begin the video, let's go ahead and start with tinted moisturizer. So the first product is actually up in my bathroom and I forgot to bring it down, but this is the new Tarte Hydrating Tinted Moisturizer. It retails for $29. Now, this is exactly what it is. This is a tinted moisturizer. This doesn't give you much coverage. It's a very, very sheer coverage. However, this tinted moisturizer I like to wear on the days that I'm not wearing makeup. And a lot of the times during the weekend, especially lately, since we're not really going anywhere during the weekends, I don't really wear makeup. And I put this on over my sunscreen and it kind of just evens my skin out a tiny bit, kind of gets rid of a little bit of the discoloration, brings some color to my skin because I self-tan and my body is a lot darker than my face. So this just kind of gives me some color to my skin, you know, covers up a little bit of redness, but that's about it. It's not going to cover up any blemishes or anything like that, but it does look really pretty on those no makeup days. And the other one is this one from Mercier. This is a tinted moisturizer, natural skin perfector. This one actually has 30 SPF sunscreens. The Mercier gives you more coverage than Tarte. It goes on very smooth, very beautiful. The only problem that I've had with the Mercier is trying to find my right shade. This one is pretty warm and I think it's gonna work for me once I get a pretty decent tan, but right now it's just really warm, almost to the point where it's almost a little orange. So I'm struggling with the shades, but I really like the formula. It's a very light coverage, more of like a sheer to light coverage, but you can really build it up and you can add a little bit extra in the areas that you need. And this is a really great option for those no makeup days as well. The other one I want to talk about is this one from Ilia or Ilia. I still don't know how to say it, but anyway, this is their Super Serum Skin Tint and SPF of 40. The reason why I wanted to include this one into this video is because this is a very clean formula at Sephora. So for those of you that ingredients are really important to you, this one is definitely sheer to light coverage. The only thing I would say about this skin tint is that it stays pretty tacky. So it's definitely one that you have to add a little bit of powder to, unless you're really dry and you like that glossy skin. This is gonna give your skin that glossy look. I prefer to add a little bit of something over top of it just to kind of settle it down a little bit, but it's a very serum-based product. I think it's a really great option for those of you that like a really clean formula, like something very lightweight on the skin. If you do have really dry skin, this is really gonna bring a lot of life to the skin. But if you have more normal skin and you don't wanna be too shiny, then this might not be an option. I wanted to mention this in the video just in case somebody's out there looking for a formula like this. Now, the other product I wanna talk about is from Lancome. This is the Lancome UV Expert Mineral CC Cream. I actually picked this up at Ulta. They don't sell it at Sephora. Let me say this. This is one of my favorites for those like beachy pool days. Like if you're gonna go out to the beach, you're gonna go out into the pool. This one has SPF of 50. So this is not a product that you're gonna wanna wear as like a foundation. It's definitely more for those outdoor days, you know, whether you're going to go on a bike ride or whatever, and you want the 50 SPF, but you also want a little bit of coverage to the skin. I would say this is definitely a light coverage, but it also kind of doesn't set down. And this is one that makes the skin look pretty glossy, but it's actually pretty pigmented for being what it is. The only problem with this one is that this is shade 4 and it only goes up to shade 5. This one matched me really good for the summer. This is shade 4. I mean, look how it just blends right into my skin. It looks so beautiful. The problem is the shade range is kind of junky because it only goes up one more shade. So this is the second to darkest shade. That is definitely a negative when it comes to this. If you're somebody that goes boating a lot or you spend a lot of time at the beach or the pool or whatever, this is a really great option because it gives you that beautiful, radiance to the skin, but it also gives you a little bit of coverage, and it also has SPF of 50, so you can keep continuing to reapply it. That's the other problem when you're using some of these tinted moisturizers and you're out in the sun all day. As we all know, when you're out in the sun all day and you're wearing SPF on your face, you have to keep reapplying it to make sure that your skin is protected. That's where a product like this comes in handy. If you're out on the boat or you're out at the beach or whatever, and you want to continue to add more sunscreen, this is going to still make your skin look really pretty. It rubs right into the skin, and it's also protecting your skin from the sun. So this is a nice option to have on hand for those boating outdoor days where you're needing that coverage. So that one's a really great product. Okay, so for light coverage, there are 3 products that I absolutely love for a light coverage. There's a lot of you out there that just don't need a lot of coverage. I have adult acne, I have hyperpigmentation. I need a good medium coverage, but there's a lot of you out there that need a light coverage. So the foundations that I love, number 1 is the Lancome Skin Feels Good. If you guys have been with me for a really long time, you know that this has been an OG of mine for a long, long time. I have had so many of my friends who I've recommended fall in love with this foundation. And this one also has SPF of 23. This one is very buildable. It's a light coverage, but if you're using like a kabuki brush, you can actually stipple it and kind of pack it on without it looking too heavy. It's one of those that just melts right into the skin. It makes the skin look really healthy, really vibrant, and it is just an OG favorite of mine, and I absolutely love it. I don't wear it a lot on camera. This is a foundation that just doesn't look that great on camera. It gives you a beautiful natural shine to your skin, but when I'm sitting in front of my studio lights, the lights will reflect off my skin so much that I can't wear it. But this is definitely one that I have loved for many, many years, and it's just a really great product. Just definitely makes the skin look that much better. So I really like this one. This one is also very similar to the Lancome. This is the YSL All-in-One Glow, the Touche Éclat All-in-One Glow. This one is beautiful as well. My only complaint with this foundation is the scent. Normally fragrance doesn't bother me when it comes to foundations or, you know, anything like that, but we all know YSL, they like to dump fake fragrance in everything they create, and this one is just sometimes too overwhelming for me. I always choose the Lancome over the All-in-One Glow, but I actually gave this to my mom for a birthday or something like that, and she loved it. I could say the exact same things about the YSL as I did the Skin Feels Good. They're both very, very similar in the way that they look and the way that they apply. But for me personally, I just like and prefer the Lancome because of the fragrance. Now, same goes for the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder. This one is definitely light coverage, very beautiful, makes the skin just look really healthy, really beautiful. And I would say you can probably build more coverage with the Lancome than you can with this. This one, I feel like because of the price, you're gonna have to use more, and I don't know that it's that cost efficient to have to keep building it. But if you want a beautiful light coverage that just makes your skin look so beautiful, this is also a nice option from Charlotte Tilbury. Those are definitely my 3 preferred foundations in the light coverage category. Let's go ahead and jump into the medium coverage category. First off, I am going to start with the Pat McGrath. I know this foundation is really pricey, but it is just absolutely beautiful on the skin. It's so lightweight. It's kind of a watery serum type of foundation. It's got a lot of pigment in it, and you can definitely build it to a full. I don't prefer to build this to a full because this is a type of foundation for me personally. If I get it too thick in any areas, especially over my texture, it'll get thick and kind of pull away from the skin. So I don't like to build this to a full coverage for me personally, but you know, Pat McGrath has said that you can build it as a full coverage. And I do think that for me, I think it gives me enough coverage. I don't need to build it. I like a thin, even layer all over the face. And if I get it too thick, it will peel away. You guys have heard me say this 100 times. My biggest complaint with this foundation is the fact that I can't get it to last me more than about 8 hours. It really starts to separate, especially like around my nose, like right here in, you know, between my eyes, anywhere that I have any movement, it kind of starts to separate. And it's one of those foundations that I'm still kind of playing with to try to get it to last longer than 8 hours. But I love the way my skin looks for those 8 hours that I'm wearing this. and I just can't get enough of it. I love it so much. I think it's so beautiful. But if you don't need your foundations to last you longer than 8 hours and you're looking for a very beautiful, lightweight, medium coverage foundation, oh, it's so pretty. The other one I want to talk about is the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation. I have been falling back into love with this. This is one of my old G, from a few years ago, and I pulled it back out and started wearing it, and I'm falling more and more in love with it. It looks so healthy on my skin, and you're wanting something to give you a medium coverage with that illumination, I would definitely get a sample of the Nars Skin Glow. It has that illumination. It just, when you put it on, it just makes everything just look so much better, and it goes over texture really beautiful. It lasts, at least for me, this lasts 10 to 12 hours, and it just looks really beautiful, and it wears off very naturally. And I actually wore this foundation on Valentine's Day, and it's one of those, it's one of those foundations that's very, very dependable for me. If I'm going to go somewhere and I really don't want to have any kind of fuss when it comes to my makeup, the Nars Sheer Glow is one that I will definitely grab. And I actually mix these two shades together. So I have the shade Stromboli and Aruba. And mixing them together is like the perfect shade for me. And of course, once it becomes summer and I get a little bit of sun, I will probably only wear the Aruba. But beautiful, beautiful foundation. Now, something a little bit more affordable. You guys have heard me talk about this. So this one is from L'Oreal. This is the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. You guys have heard me talk about it recently. I've really fallen in love with this foundation. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And this also has SPF of 50. This is a really great option. The only negative with this is the fifth ingredient in this foundation is alcohol. So if you're sensitive to alcohol in your foundations, or you do have really dry skin, the alcohol content might irritate your skin, so be careful with it. But for me personally, right now I'm more normal. I'm not as dry as I was in the winter. This just looks so healthy and beautiful on my skin, and it starts to wear off, I would say, around the 8-hour mark. This is not a really long lasting foundation, but this has SPF of 50. So this is something that you can reapply throughout the day. Let's just say, again, you're going boating and you don't really want to spend the money on the Lancome one, and maybe you want a little bit more coverage than this one from Lancome. This is a great option to mix maybe a little bit of this in with your regular sunscreen and take something along with you like this, where you're going to be out boating or you're going to be out to the beach. This is going to give you that extra sunscreen coverage that you're going to need to protect your skin, but also give you a little bit of radiance and, a little bit of coverage, and just kind of even out your skin tone. This is a good medium coverage. You can dilute it with your moisturizer and it's only going to give you like a light coverage, but really beautiful. I love it. It's very, very affordable. I've been buying mine on Amazon and it's great. The other one is from Tarte. This is the Foundcealer. This is a multitasking foundation. It has SPF of 20, but this is one of those that is a medium coverage and looks just very healthy. Just very healthy. It's pretty dewy, so for those of you that don't really like the dew, you're definitely going to have to put some sort of powder over top of it to kind of just set it down. The thing that I like most about this foundation is this is the one that I will reach for if I'm in a hurry, and maybe I'm not going to apply like a full face of makeup. Like this is not a foundation you're going to want to pick when you're doing a full face of makeup. This is the type of foundation that you want to grab when you're going to put a little bit of a pencil through your brows, throw some mascara on, put a little blush on, and go out the door. That's where this foundation comes in, and it'll just kind of make your skin look really healthy and beautiful, but it's not going to make you have a full B. It gives you a decent medium coverage. It looks so natural. It feels, to me personally anyway, more appropriate for those like no makeup days. So I really like this one, and they say it has really great ingredients. So this one from Tarte is really good. The other one that I have recently, fallen in love with, talked about a ton of times, this is the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. This one actually has SPF of 45. This is a good medium coverage. This is the exact same formula like the Pat McGrath. If you get this too thick, it will not look good, especially on textured or mature skin. So if you have any wrinkles or whatever, go in lightly with this in that area and maybe go over that area with a sponge. So let's just say that you've applied it. I would go over that area with like a blank part of the sponge that doesn't have any product on it and really pick up any extra product that might be sitting on your texture or your wrinkles, because this one I have noticed has a tendency to get kind of thick and can get cakey if you're not careful, but it gives the skin such a beautiful shine. It's hydrating, but it's not like dewy and slipping and sliding all over the face. They have tons of different shades and it's a great formula. It is. Now the other one is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is their Luminous Foundation. This is a great medium coverage. It just illuminates the skin, but you can definitely build it to a full. I don't really like building it to a full, but you can build it to a full, but I think this looks really beautiful on the skin. I do like to wear powder with this one because it is kind of glowy, but this one's a great one too. I really like it. Now the other one is this one. The other one is this from Dior. This is the Forever Skin Glow Foundation. This is one of those foundations that is like 24-hour locked and loaded. This is a foundation that I will reach for when I want a nice medium coverage and I want a little bit of that glow, but I need my makeup to last me a really long time. Something similar to the Nars. The Nars and the Skin Glow are very similar in the way that I can depend on them to last and look really beautiful. Dior always has really beautiful foundations, and they did a really great job on this formula. This one is a glowing finish, and it has that illumination to it. Really beautiful. My only struggle when it comes to Dior is trying to find my right shade. I don't know if I'm the only one. I love Dior foundations, but trying to find my shade has been very difficult. This is the 4 Neutral. I think I need to buy the 3W, but I'm not sure. Once Sephora opens, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to get some samples and try to like shade match, but very beautiful foundation. And I had to mention it in the video. It's really pretty. Okay. So that's it for the medium coverage. Let's go ahead and jump into the full coverage. As we all know, trying to find a really good full coverage that is for dry, normal skin can sometimes be difficult. So I have a few foundations in my collection that I highly recommend in the full coverage category. You guys are not going to be surprised. This is my favorite foundation of all time. So this is the Tom Ford Traceless Stick Foundation. I am absolutely obsessed with this foundation. This foundation has great reviews everywhere you turn. Doesn't matter if you look it up on Sephora, you look it up on Nordstrom's, you look it up on Saks Fifth Avenue, wherever you're looking, the reviews on this foundation are high because this is absolutely beautiful. It's very expensive. It's $88 and you only get a half of an ounce. But for me, it's lasted me a really long time and I use it all the time. I wear the shade 7.5 Shell Beige during like the winter time when I'm self-tanning, but I'm not really out in the sun. Then during the summer when I'm out in the sun, I wear 7.7 Honey. So this foundation, it can be built to a full coverage. I've never seen a full coverage foundation melt into the skin like this, ever. It just looks so natural and it wears off so natural. It's the best for a reason. It's so beautiful. Those who have oily skin, they already have natural glows. So for those of us that dry normal, we're like trying to achieve the natural glow. But this gives a healthy glow to the skin, undetectable, melts right in. It is fantastic. My favorite way to apply this, because this is a little bit harder. So some of the foundations that I have that are in the stick form, they're very easy to blend. They kind of just melt away. This one is a little bit tougher. So when I put the stripes on my face, I have to go in with a brush to kind of really pull the product all throughout the skin. And then I like to just push it into the skin with a sponge and give it that natural look. One of the best, it is the best foundation ever on the planet. I love it that much. This other foundation, you guys have heard me talk about this. This is the Dior Air Flash Foundation. This is a full coverage. I don't know how they created this foundation, but it is unbelievable. Now, I keep this around for special occasions. This one is very expensive. It's way more expensive than the Tom Ford, only because it's in a spray. And when I first discovered this foundation, I went through a bottle within like a month and a half. I was wearing it every day and I went through a bottle within like a month and a half. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is waterproof. This is budge proof. This is the foundation that I reach for when I'm out in the humidity. For example, when my family and I, you know, I live in a dry climate, and every year we go to Florida for the summer, and when you go from a dry climate to a humid climate, you have to change your entire makeup routine, because what products work in the dry weather will not work in the humid weather. So I love this for those days that maybe we're going to go out, maybe we're going to a theme park in Orlando when it's really hot and you feel like you're going to literally pass out because you're just so hot. My foundation doesn't budge with the Air Flash. There's something about the formula, having it in the aerosol can, the way that they created it. You shake it up, you make sure you shake it up really good before you use it. You guys have to shake it up. You can spray it directly on your brush like this and start going in and melting it into your skin. And it will just, it'll blend and melt completely away. It blends so beautifully into the skin, and it's almost like you can't see it. It's so undetectable on the skin. I've never seen a foundation like it. I've never seen a foundation blend out like this one and so undetectable. If you can find your perfect shade in this foundation, nobody will ever even know you're wearing anything. It's that amazing. So I keep this when I'm gonna go to a wedding and I really want my makeup to look really good. This is the product that I reach for when I don't wanna fuss with my makeup. I want it to stay on, I'm gonna be outside, and I don't wanna mess with it. And it's waterproof, it's humid proof, it's sweat proof, it's everything. It is absolutely amazing. Like I said, it's not to be used on a daily basis unless you want to run through it quickly. If you have the funds to run through it quickly, then you wear it every single day. But for me, I have so many other great foundations that I love that I just don't reach for it unless I am going to be needing it. And I have it on hand all the time. The other product I want to talk about is this from Hourglass. Now, this is their stick foundation. This is their Vanish stick. The reason why I wanted to mention this in this video, I do not like this foundation all over my face. It is so drying on my skin. It makes me look old. Like, it does not look good. The reason why I'm mentioning it in this video, whenever I'm wearing, let's just say I'm wearing the Light Wonder foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. And I love the finish of this, but I need a little bit of coverage. That's when I grab a product like this. This, I can go over top of my areas that I need a little bit of coverage. Okay, so for example, this little pimple right here, okay, I've got a little bit of redness showing. I will go like that and I will just blend it over top and it disappears. So I don't like this foundation all on its own, but when I'm wearing a light coverage foundation and I want a little bit of coverage in direct areas, I will reach for something like this. Now, yes, you can use your concealer if you have a concealer that you love. I like this because it's full coverage and it's made to be a foundation. Sometimes when I use concealers on my skin, they kind of build up throughout the day. I don't know if that's happened to you, but sometimes if I put too much concealer over a spot or whatever, by the end of the day, it starts to kind of pull away from the foundation. This is an actual foundation. So this is going to give me that extra coverage, but wear like a foundation is supposed to wear. So that's the reason why I wanted to mention it in the video. I keep it around for those days where I want that light coverage, natural makeup look, but I need a little bit of spot concealing, and it's really great. I love it for that. Now, the other product I want to talk about is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. This is the most pigmented foundation. I'm telling you, you guys, this is full pigment. And I use a drop of it. This will cover my entire face. It is so pigmented and so full coverage. I've never seen anything like it. Now, I love to mix this foundation. So I really love this foundation on its own, but I have found that I love it more when I mix it. And what I mean by mixing is, for example, today, I mixed it with my Tom Ford. This is my Flawless Glow foundation. This has SPF of 30. This was the part of the Soleil collection from last summer. So today I mixed these two together. I just take my little palette right here and I put, I put a couple of drops down into here. I put one drop in here and I mixed it up. This gives me a beautiful radiance to my skin, but this is going to give me coverage. It looks beautiful on its own, but this is, again, one of those foundations you cannot use too much. If you use too much, it will lift and pull from the skin, and it does not look pretty. It actually does it worse than the Pat McGrath and the Estee Lauder. You cannot use very much of this. It takes a tiny, tiny little bit. I recommend put some on the back of your hand, grab it with your finger and dot it all over your face, and then take a brush and spread it all over your skin and keep working it in and keep blending it in. If you do a thin layer of this, it is locked and loaded and beautiful all day long. So if you're ever in a situation where you've used too much of this product, this is another trick that I love to do with this, because it's a full coverage, but it also dries down to kind of a demi matte finish, but still very radiant at the same time. So if you get into a situation where you've applied too much, I love to take my sponge, and I like to spray my sponge with, you know, even the watermelon recipe, any type of setting mist that's going to add some moisture to your skin. I like to spray my sponge, even though my sponge is damp. I like to spray my sponge with some sort of a setting spray, and then I will go in and just really dilute it and try to pick it up. So it's one of those that you just do not want to use very much of. It will last you forever because you seriously don't need very much. Such a beautiful foundation. Recently, I mixed it with the Ilia, and it was absolutely stunning. So beautiful. This gave me that really beautiful sun-kissed glow look to the skin, but then when I added a little bit of this in it, I had the pigment that I needed, and it just was such a great combination. I love personally mixing my foundations. Let's just say that you bought this foundation and you can't get it to work. I recommend mixing it with some of your favorite light coverage serum type foundations, and I think you'll find a way to really enjoy this. The other one is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This is a holy grail for many people. This is a beautiful natural finish foundation. This one doesn't give you that radiance effect to the skin, but it does give you a beautiful natural finish, and it's full coverage. They have so many shades, which I love that about this foundation. The shade range is amazing, and there's almost a shade for everyone, which I really love. It's very dependable because it's a more of a natural matte finish. It's really long lasting, really beautiful on the skin, and I love this from Too Faced. I think it's a great foundation. The other one is the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra Wear. You guys, this is an OG for a reason. This is a natural finish. So this is a very thin formula. It's so weird. As you're blending it out, it really blends away, and it melts right into the skin, and it's so undetectable. It's one of my favorites. If you have dry, normal skin and you're looking for a really nice natural matte finish, this is a fantastic option. Gives you full coverage, looks absolutely beautiful on the skin. Lancome has great foundations. Can we be honest? They have great foundations. Looks so natural on the skin, and it blends right in, and it doesn't dry me out. It doesn't make me look more dry. And that is a foundation that I will reach for during the winter on my driest days because it just works so well in dry skin. It's almost like it's a hydrating, natural matte finish. It's just a really great natural full coverage foundation. Finally, we have this from Clinique. This is the Even Better Refresh Hydrating and Repairing Foundation. This is a full coverage, and I need to get a darker shade in this. This one I have in the shade 76 Toasted Wheat, which is a medium, like warm neutral shade. This one is a little bit too light for me, but it's definitely full coverage, very hydrating. So for any of you out there that are really dry and you need a nice full coverage foundation, this is a really great option. It's a great foundation. Clinique has just been around for so many years. Great ingredients, and I've really enjoyed this. I need a darker shade, and so I don't pull for it as much as I want to, but I remember just how beautiful my skin looks when I wear it. It's a great formula for those of you that need a full coverage in the dry normal category. Now, I also wanted to mention, for those of you out there who have dry normal skin, the only powder for me personally that I have found that works for me in a dry normal, all of the other powders that I have used from the Huda Beauty, the Laura Mercier, even the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra powders, I just don't love this like everybody else does. I don't love this formula, and maybe I need to continue to work with it, and maybe I'll fall in love with it like everybody else. The only powder on the market that melts into my skin and does not dry me out and doesn't look flaky and cakey throughout the day is the Hourglass. This is one of the best powders on the market for dry, normal skin, period. I think it's great for those who have combination skin as well. If you have oily skin, this is not going to be thick enough or mattifying enough, I don't think, to control your oils throughout the day. But for those of you who have dry, normal combo, this is fantastic. Definitely one of my favorites. You guys hear me talk about it all the time, but I wanted to mention it in this video in case, you know, somebody here is a new viewer and has never watched any of my videos before. And maybe after going through these foundations, you know, maybe you're somebody that does have dry, normal skin and you like that natural glow, but you want to powder it down just so that it's not too glowy and slipping and sliding all day. That's where this powder will come in and change your life. It's so beautiful. So I highly recommend it for anybody that has dry, normal, and even combination skin. So that's it. That is my ultimate best foundations for dry, normal skin. If you have dry, normal skin and you have a favorite foundation, let us know in the comments down below what your favorite is. These are just my suggestions, but your guys' suggestions are just as important as mine. And I always love hearing from you guys, and it's always very helpful for other viewers to go down into the comments section and look to see what everybody else is loving. So definitely let us know what your favorite foundation is and what are your favorite foundations for the summer. If you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Thank you all so much for spending your time with me. I love you all, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.